So, without further ado, let's introduce Samuel Snopko from Storyblock. All right, there he is. How are you, man?
Hi, everybody.
So, it feels like yesterday that we did this because we did exactly the same thing last week on another conference. So, how is this talk is the same title, but it's quite different, right?
No, I misunderstood. It's the same talk, or not exactly the same talk. It's of course updated all the time, but this is the talk about the e-commerce and the next. So you will see.
Great. And so I'm really interested in the part on how Nuxt works super well with Storyblock, and I'm sure you're going to be talking about that, especially on how the content editing works. I cannot believe how well you guys are doing that. So awesome.
Yeah,
is there anything you want to mention before we start? Anything people have to pay attention to, or?
I just enjoy the talk. This time I have a little bit more time, so I was not so fast, and I try to explain everything more in detail. So I hope you will catch it and write a good Q&A, so questions. I'm looking forward to the 15 minutes of all the answers. So really
Awesome.
appreciate that.
So everyone, feel free to add your questions in the chat, and Samuel and I will be picking those up and talking about them in our Q&A after the talk. So sit back and relax and enjoy Samuel's talk about the future of headless e-commerce. Cheers.
See you soon.
Hi, hello, Nuxters and Viewsters. I'm really happy to be here today. I'm honestly very excited to be here today on the vueday IT. And I'm kind of sad that I'm not here there in person and only like online, which makes it kind of sad because I was like looking forward to the pizza and I missed the last two sessions or last two editions of the vueday IT. So hopefully next time we will see each other in person. So, but don't waste the time and let's jump to the talk. My talk is called Headless e-commerce, or basically a sneak peek into the future. And we will be talking today about the Vue Storefront, Nuxt.js, Storyblock as the headless CMS, and commerce tools as the part where we are taking care of our products and other stuff regarding to the commerce side. So first of all, something about me. My name is Samuel Snopko. I'm head of the developer relation at Storyblock, which is a headless CMS. And if you didn't heard about, you should definitely check it out. I think we have quite some interesting features, which other CMSs at the moment doesn't have. So go there, storyblock.com. But out of that, I was always like a front-end developer. Not always, but I worked as a front-end developer for like 7-8 years or something like that. And my story was very interesting because I found out about the Nuxt like in 2017 or maybe 16, and I was like very happy with the whole like idea of having the Nuxt and building the website, building the applications and all the stuff. But I was still missing one part, and that part was like how to take care of the content, because I know I could do a markdown, I know I could do the GitHub and Git-based solutions, and I could even go for some big monolithic CMSs, but it wasn't like really working good for the content editors. And then I found a Storyblock. I made a friend with the Storyblock, and suddenly like in 2020 I joined the company after some time of doing like ambassador and like going and speaking out of Storyblock. Out of that, I'm like huge fan of the Nuxt.js, so I guess like I'm here on the this is the right place to be here, and also the Vue.js. I have to be honest, I don't code so much as lately as I should do, but I do a lot of experiments. I build even the Tailwind package for the Nuxt.js, or like helper, which should help you to take care of all the classes. Maybe you should check it out. From other that stuff, I always love to speaking and supporting the community, and it's something connected also to design ops. Though I was always like acting as a bridge between the backend developers or developers and the designers, and I really honestly like it. So, but that was enough to me about me. If you want to follow me, the last thing, or have any questions during the talk or after the talk, just don't hesitate and go to this Samuel Snopko on Twitter and just write me questions. My DMs are open, so I'm always like answering. So let's jump to the talk and first set up some basis. So what is monolithic when it's decoupled this topic? So it has a lot of this topic because the headless e-commerce is definitely about the decoupling. And if we are talking about the decoupling or monolithic versus decoupled approach to the websites, application, etc., there are many aspects to this. And it's not only about the decoupling the front and the back end, but that's something, of course, which is very obvious and it's like really important, but it's not only about that. It's about the decoupling the services also. So we are not dependent or like locked in only one solution. So basically you choose your front end or your framework like Next.js or Vue.js, and you choose your backend. Great, but also you can choose all your services around. So and that means that like with choosing the Next.js, you can also choose the Vue storefront for e-commerce or not. And glue using the Vue store for everything together. Or you can go and choose commerce tools as your commerce tool backend or for where you will take care of your product. But you could go also for a BigCommerce or Shopify or Shopware or Spryker or like any other commerce tool solutions. Then you have also on the side of the CMSs where you take care of your non-commercial content, but it's still a very important content because this is a presentation content. This is the content that your content editors and marketers working on daily basis with. They are like creating those landing pages, and they need to have the best system out there that they can produce the best the result and best UX for your end customers. So, and if you put everything together, we are trying to glue a lot of parts, and that's basically what it's also decoupling about. So just don't think about decoupling only as the front and the back end. Then what brings us the decoupling against the monolithic is that in the old times of the monolithics, you get a whole solutions, and usually it was working quite good, but then came a time that other services were focusing on other stuff. So like somebody started to focus on the A/B testing, somebody on the commerce tools, somebody on as we are doing the management of the content and all the workflows around it. And then we have a problem because we have to integrate those monolithic systems with these services. And this is sometimes very, very complicated. And this is the whole idea that you are able to focus on your DX and UX. So we are focusing on one service. You can choose us, and our main target is to deliver a best user experience for your marketers and content editors, but in the same time to make your life so easy as possible. So the both world of the web getting the best of what they can. And of course, at first, the whole thing that you are paying for some services may look like you are have to pay for something, and you like it's expensive. But to be honest, if you put and take some free open source CMS, or if you take something which is kind of free, and then you find out that you have to do a regular update, you have to if it's plugin is updated, you have to change maybe your structure, your architecture because of that. And there's tons of development work and the support work and other work around which you have to do just to deliver and update regularly and change the security of those things. So I literally think if you give those jobs to the specialists like us, you will save a lot of money. So, and then bring me to the evolution of the CMS, which is the last part before we are really jumping to the e-commerce, is what and how you can take care of your content. And about the content, because the e-commerce is not only about the product and selling. It's about also showing that somebody wants to buy from you. And for that, you have to create a content that other people like. So to create it like a developer, it's quite easy. You could program a HTML site, but for your marketers and the content is not so easy. They are not technical ones. And that's, if you think about the evolution of the CMSs, we started like developers. We had just the files, so we built HTML with CSS, we copy pasted it and transferred it to some server. That's easy, just copy paste basically. But yeah, nobody else could do it. We just got an email, we did our stuff and just copy paste it. And then everything was growing and the website was bigger and bigger and we couldn't do that. Then we came with the idea kind of the next stage is, in my opinion, Git based. So we have kind of versioning. So we have versions of that stuff. So we could also go back if something would happen. But still, that was only version. It's literally all more or less only for developers. I mean, like you can build something on top of that, but still it's too much complicated. Then the third step, in my opinion, would be a monolithic CMS. It's also like a great idea when we put everything together from the CSS, HTML, the templating language. So basically the monolithic CMS would tell you like, hey, yes, you can use me and I will choose everything for you almost. So you wouldn't be able to like go for other templating language because this CMS works with this one. Or if you want to write the CSS, then you should write it here and this way and stuff like that. And that was something that we and a lot of people in the community in the web realized like, okay, we would like to use our own tools. We know how to do it better. And we even know that our customers better and we know what they want to really. But still, those monolithic CMSs still have a very, very good features. Like, I'm not saying like they are like wrong or totally bad. They are great content authoring. They have a great workflows, the right systems, how to translate the content. Maybe not so much as how to make it modular, but they have like previews. Like they had literally those context editing stuff, and that really, really something which is important. But also, they had like a lot of restrictions for us developers, and we weren't somewhere else. At least I wasn't so happy. So, and that brings me to the point that in that time, if you take all those good features of them, and then you want to give a freedom to your developers, that's what make a good headless CMS, in my opinion. So you have an application where you will take care of your content, you do the content authoring, translations, you do all the other stuff like exactly in Storyblock, but your developers just consume the API. And you will let them choose. Do you want to use it with Next.js, Nuke.js, Vue.js, Svelte, PHP, Java, Swift, Android, Kotlin, whatever you want. You just use our API. If you want a GraphQL, then use a GraphQL. Do you want to the version number 1 of our REST API? Use that one. If you want to use the version 2, then use the version 2. And that is the power of the Storyblock, in my opinion, and headless CMSs. So, and what is the headless e-commerce then? So the headless e-commerce is about like, yes, we have now we understand what is the decoupled, that we can put and pull everything together. But if you build a headless CMS and you are probably an agency, you want to iterate fast. So if you can deliver fast and you can deliver good stuff fast, then you are probably a winner and you will get a lot of jobs and offers. So the e-commerce and why to go for headless e-commerce is that you can very easily reuse this stuff. So you will delegate a task to different parts, so to the CMS, to the e-commerce tools, which we are already talking about. But still, like in e-commerce, it's very important to have a security. And the security now, those commerce tools, they are taking care of the security. The content management system is taking care of their security. We have our own security experts who do the regular updates. And you basically don't have to do anything to keep everything up to date. It's updated on daily basis and everybody is doing the non-breaking changes, of course. So your system is working and getting faster without anything else. I mean, like no coding from your side, no technical approach, anything. Of course, the performance getting better, as I said, and you can get the editing on non-e-commerce content, which means that in all times, you would have like something like a monolithic in the commerce part, but now you can choose and take your non-e-commerce content and reuse it in different platforms even, and use it in the one content editing, headless system. And I will show you that in a second what I mean under that. So like you will have a preview of what you are building, and at the end of the day, you as a developer are focusing on what you are building. So what we were also today, our technology stack, I already mentioned it on the beginning of my talk, and it will be next. It will be Vue Storefront, which if you didn't heard about, then you should definitely check it out. They had also already Vue Storefront Summit a few days ago, and this was great. A lot of integration, great tool. Then the Storyblock, which is a headless CMS. Also, we have integration with everything you can imagine, and especially we really love the Next and Vue.js community, which we are huge fans of us in the whole team. We are the Vue developers or still developers, but Vue Storyblock is building on the Vue if you want to know. So check it out, and we have integrations with Next, Vue, etc. I will show you in a second. And there's a commerce tools. We are going to use, so as a commerce tool, we are going to use a commerce tools, which is one of the commerce tool solutions. But you could also integrate at the moment with Shopify, Shopware, and BigCommerce, and more are coming. Or even you can build your own integration with Storyblock and Vue Storefront, which is not really complicated because you just have to consume the API of your commerce solution. So great. Oh, I jump, of course, one more. So the coding time, and we will do a little demo. I prepared a few links. I prepared also my repository, and hopefully everything will go on. So we will create something like create Storyblock space to present something and give you the look and feel how does it work. Then we will play what we have in commerce tools. We have also creating the Vue Storefront project. Then we also connect the Storyblock and the Vue Storefront and the commerce tools, of course, and do some adjustments. So let's jump. What do we have in the Storyblock? So Storyblock is living in a cloud, of course, and you have to go register and create an account. It's very easy and very quick. After you're you can create very easily and quickly a new space. For example, you can go play a demo or just click and create a new space. As you can see here, you have multiple options what to do. At the moment, you could go for playing with demo, where you set up whole demo with the Next.js and template. You can see it, how it works, and what does it look like the live editing. I'm not here exactly to show you how the demo of the Storyblock works, but let's show you that very quickly. And let's wait for till the space is initializing. Okay, that took for a few seconds, and we are now in the visual editor. The most important part about the Storyblock to understand is you have a space, visual editor, where you are editing your content. So here I have some content. I can drag and drop on the right hand side the stuff, reorder the stuff, or do editing. So if I click here, for example, I can go and change the text to anything I want, and also you can do all the changes. Change the internal link to empty, white, and do the changes. And this is the very easy how the the Storyblock will look like. So you will create a space, and then you have here the content where you can create a folder structure with a tree, which will represent your website. If you don't want to, you can use it as also for your URLs and Slacks. If you don't want to use, you can always override them because it's everything delivered through the API. So what does it mean with the API is if I open here the publish JSON of my content, you will see how the basic JSON of demo space would look like. I encourage you definitely, if you want to know more about the Storyblock, go and play with it. What we will be doing today is I will go back, and I have here the Vue Storefront Commerce Tools demo, which is more running at the moment. And you can see that I already did there some updates. I work on it. That's the Storyblock. Just let's create. I created this very easy space with one story or two stories. One story is home, and the second story is a connect home. So this is of course connected to the commerce tools and the Vue Storefront, and this is just a sample how it will look like if you install the Vue Storefront. So how to install the Vue Storefront is the next step. So it's very easy. It's as any framework on the top of the framework. You just go for Yarn Global, add a Vue Storefront CLI, and then you just can initialize it. It's a very easy, quick win, super fast. It will set up of your whole project. And what you will get after the setup of the project is basically something similar to this repository or this project I have open in the code editor, VS Code. You can see that it's already running. So I already set up, because of the time measure and everything that you can see, and what we are doing here, I can present that. So what you will get in the first moment is basically something with just one page, and the page is called home, of course. And this page at the moment has just hard-coded content directly in the data. And you can see we will be replacing this with Storyblock. So this is because a lot of this content is a non-commercial content. So this is not coming from the commerce tools. It's not about the products. Then you can see that the whole website is built from some components which are defined in the Storefront UI, which is something I definitely front UI. So if you go here, you see the Storefront UI, and the Storefront UI is already a library of the components ready to be used by the Storefront solution together with Storyblock, for example. It's very easy and very quick. I go there and try it out. Maybe I will show you that also later. So this is running. So let's show you the localhost, that everything is running, and we have there something. So you can see that on the localhost at the moment, I have my website. This is a static website with a slider, and everything what you see here at the moment is hard-coded. So also the images and everything, nothing is coming from the API. So it's great. I see it, I can preview it, and I could kind of like use it. There are probably some subsites. And also you can use like already like the functions from like add to cart, etc. But this view storefront is built on the top. View storefront is built on the top of the next in this case, and it's gluing everything together. So it's giving me the function, the abstraction, and that I don't have to build all the stuff by myself. So it's again a component, but I also getting functions like add to cart or a load from the commerce tools. I will show that in a second also. So that is the localhost. The one thing I would love to show you is also like we have I've used in Storyblock, we have a preview. So if I open here the home, I can see that website in my preview. It's minimized at the moment, so I click here, and you can see that in my iframe in the Storyblock, I see the localhost/home. So basically, I see my website, and here on the right-hand side, I have my content which says teaser and grid, which is definitely what we see on the website here in middle or in big screen. So it's not connected. We didn't connect it like these components which we created in the Storyblock with the view storefront at the moment, or with our application. To very easily like cover topic how it is work and how you can preview different stuff is that basically in the settings of the Storyblock, you just define what you want to show in your preview editor, visual editor, and you can also set up like multiple environments, like you can the production, development, etc., and how many do you want. And then in the content, if I open the home, I could very easily like check which environment I would love to preview and see. So for example, if you are like building or doing a bigger redesign, you have a like redesign environment and you are using the same structure of your content in the Storyblock as a headless CMS, but you are already producing a new preview, and your content editors can see how the old content will look like in the new preview, so, which is awesome. So cool. Okay, that was a view storefront. So I covered the view storefront, as I said. We kind of created Storyblock space very quickly to show you like what is the experience, and then we should preview the commerce tool. So what I have in the commerce tool is like I created that's project, which is also 60 days trials day, if I'm correct. And as you can see here at the moment, I have a 4 product here. These four products are already set up, so I would like open here. You can see like it set some cotton, and there's like variants, and there's also some picture of it. So everything's it's like very basic stuff. Like literally, I have a product list of 4 products at the moment. Normally, you would have probably thousands of them here, of course. And then what I did is I set up also in developer settings an API for my systems. So I created an API 3 days ago was the last time used, but for the products and the categories, which is used by the Storyblock to preview and let you choose what you want to show on the website. and that will be also shown in a second. And then also I created a API endpoint or like access point for this Vue Storefront application, because Vue Storefront also want to request some data if you want to, if you produce and deploy your website. So it's very easy, like nothing else. You have like 2 categories. If I look, also show you the categories, and I have products, right? So what is the next point is the connecting the Storyblock with the Vue Storefront. Exactly. So as I showed you already here, we are not connected here. So you can see that these components aren't connected to the Vue Storefront. But as you could see, and I have still a lot of time, so I can slow down. We have here a connected home, which is representing at this moment a connected website or to the Vue Storefront and also commerce tools in our case. So if I open it, I would see the same website, but there is a little bit difference, because you could see there are already some products and some other components on the right hand side. So how does this work? Like, is this also like if I hover here, then you can see there are outlines, and even if I hover here on the SF hero, which means storefront hero in my slang, you can see also the green rectangle in the middle, in the bigger screen. So look here. Let's say like I will remove the product slider here, that it's not confused by them. And there's a banner grid. And if I hover on the banner grid, you see that green stuff are about. So there's a connection, a Storyblock bridge, which works in Vue or Next and other technologies. And this bridge connects our content editor on the right-hand side with our visual preview, which is an iframe. We are feeding the data directly there, and then you can have also the live updates. And we also add into draft mode, only in draft mode. So you will not see it in production, and there will be like not more stuff rendered in the production. You will see these outlines, and now I can click here and I see that, okay, the correct component on the right hand side opened, and I can now edit it. So for example, I can change the version. So I can change to version 1 or 2. And how does this work is like, this is a component from the Storefront UI. So if I go to Storefront UI very quickly and show you the Storefront UI, there's a library of all the components. So you can open that. And if I find here a banner very quickly, so let's go for banner. Here is the banner, and there are some modifiers, and this is a different banner probably, because yes, I need to find a grid banner, which I don't know where is this. Yes, here is the banner grid. It's a bigger organism, and this is exactly what I use on the website. And there you can see that there is banner grid, and there's like 2 versions of it. So if I change the version to 2 and I would pull that down, then there's like different view as is the version 1. So this is something which is set up by the Vue Storefront team that or the UI team who are building this, and they did great job. So I'm very thankful for them for that. That we can have options and we don't have to code everything from scratch. So I have version 1 and version 2, which will send the API, the version, to my Vue Storefront, and according to that, I'm changing the layout. I will show you that in a second. What you can also do is like they used for the position here, they use a slot. So for example, I can now change and send the first picture to the slot B, which is this one. And then I would have to send the B slot to the A. And now the lady is on the big screen, on the big banner here. I can save it, I could publish it. And if I go to the banner here, the preview, and look for banner, then you would see there should be a component called banner. Yes, says SF hero. So here is a component called SF banner, which I told you. And there is probably a version now. So, but version is here, and here is a version. So as you can see, this whole thing, so let's hide the banners, because this is an array of the banners inside, and I have here as a SF banner grid with a version 2, which I sent to the Vue Storefront. Yeah, here. And this is like how you can get experience to changing, but you don't get only that. You can like also reorder the stuff. So I just put the SF here on the second place and other stuff. So how this works exactly in the code would be the first question. So in that case, let's cover that. So what I did is like install the Vue Storefront, and then in packages, I would show you that I also installed, of course, this is installed by default. So I installed the Storyblock next, which is responsible for getting data from the Storyblock in this case. So what does it look like? So if I go now into the connected page, or home, sorry, then you can see here that I'm using here something called SV page, so Storefront page, and the Storefront page is created here in the CMS component. This is the recommendation from the Vue Storefront, that you have a component which are the components from the Vue Storefront and your component, and then you have a special folder called CMS where you have components for your from your CMS. Where basically I am using the component from the Vue Storefront. So here I'm rendering a page, and then I'm just sending a data. But the data are loaded by the async data function in this moment, where from the context and with the way that I installed the Storyblock Next plugin, that I already like getting the data from the connected home here. So see, I'm just asking my API to, hey, give me the connected home in the draft version. It's all. That's not more complicated. And this is also set up. If I go to the next config, there is a Storyblock Nuxt, so where I just added my access token, my draft access token from Storyblock. So here I would go to Storyblock. That you see it also that here in settings, I have you can create a multiple API keys, and in this case, I created one preview for the draft content. Then the second thing, what is more important, is that you can see that the Slack here is connected home. So this is how I ask in the connected home for the data. This could be also, or should be normally like in the production, would be more dynamic. So you would do something like, okay, find out the full Slack using the context with similar code like this. And also, usually what is happening is that you don't get also the draft version of the content, but you want to get a publish sometimes if you are like publishing in the live. So in that case, you can like ask the contents if you are in the development mode. So it's easy. Great, I get some content, but then how works the live editing? So the live editing, I still have 15 more minutes, so great. Work that basically a Storyblock, we installed also Storyblock Bridge with the Storyblock Next. And then we are getting like publish and change event. And then if the event happens in the iframe and we catch it, then we just reload the website. Nice to reload. But we have also wanting something better, because we have that live editing. As you can, let's go to this one and let's change the addresses. So something else. So you can see as I am hitting and typing, so basically I am getting an update, and the update is great because I'm getting that I am catching the input, and into input event I am sending basically my whole story, like new version of the story, and then I can replace all the time the stories in the content, and then I am getting also like a new version. So basically it's with the reactivity you get the instant preview of what they are typing without the hitting save or publish. And this is also great because you don't create new versions then. You can see like I have a lot of versions. If I would have to click save every time I create a new version, then I would have so many, I would have even more versions here, and it would be even more polluted and problematic to use. So great. So what now? So I connected Storyblock. I kind of explained how does it work. Not exactly. I did here some change. I don't want to save it. So no save. The third question is like, okay, there are two more questions. So how the editing works and how to load the products. Right. So the first thing, let's see here that I have here the change, and this was a newsletter, and I didn't prepare this correctly because I wanted to change this. But okay, let's say I will remove these two fields. I will save it. And now I am going to remove this. So I don't have here the fields, anything. And I don't see here on the newsletter, nothing. And the reason why I don't see it is because this component in the Vue storefront is called call to action. So if I jump to the call to action component, you can see that normally I have here a title and I am expecting some blocks. So if I would like remove it, just save it, then get here, reload, then we see here that we are, instead of getting a newsletter or the name, yes, we are getting a blog.title and the blog.description. And okay, but we would like to, and we cannot edit it, it's hard coded in the code, as you can see here. So how to do it? And to do it, like if this is a standalone component, I can go and add there, like to this storefront call to action, I can add a field. So let's go to the components, just also to preview that directly there, and that you have idea like what components we have. So if I go to the component here, you can see that I created some components already from this. Of course, I created some of them. So in the storefront folder, I see all of my storefront components. And here I have two types. One is the content type, which is used to create a new stories or a new pages, authors, products, whatever you want to create them. And then there are nest table components. The nest table components are used to nest the other components inside any other component. So you can use, and for example, I can basically nest storefront banner into other component or also into the content type. And if I look here on the call to action at the moment, I have only a call to action without any fields to input. So to add there something and very easily create that is like, I just need a title and I need a description of this call to action, description. So I added two fields, and now the title, for example, it's just a simple text, and I think like simple text is enough. But in the description, I would like to have a longer text, so let's make a text area. We could go for rich text, markdown theoretically, or we can go for also some stylings like we did with version in that where the version was just a drop down where we define the possible values for it. And of course, then there is one special component which is called the block. Block. And this is like you can see it here that we have the banner here, which was added to grid. And the grid, as you can see now, is the version which I already mentioned you. So you can have like a single option where you choose what version of this grid you want to show. And the second field there is a banners. So you are adding banners. And these banners I allowed, like I said, like it's type blocks. And then I whitelisted only the banners. So you can add inside of this array only the other components called banners. And you can even like say like, okay, I want to allow maximum of 4 and then save it. And then you would go to the content, and in the connected home, if I click here on the banner grid, you see that I have this version and I have 4 banners, which I can add or remove, but I cannot add more. So you see there's no button add to more because I already added 4 of them. So, but back to the call to action, because we need to cover still one more thing. So the call to action here, I just added the title and I added my description. But now I just want to make it reactive, that it's also like shown the text here. So if I add here a newsletter and subscribe to our cool newsletter. Don't preview, let's save it. So let's go to the code. So I save it, I'm like sending the data, but I don't use them. And the reason why I don't use them is that I didn't make this a props. So now I will get a title, and into title, I'm sending blog.title. So basically the whole content of my newsletter component is covered in the blog, which is a props that I'm getting here. And then I'm sending that to the storefront call to action component, which is loaded from the component here. No, this is loaded directly from the storefront UI. Great. So and now if I go to the website, I already see updated content, and I can just start typing and everything works because the Next.js reloaded, of course. So great, we covered that. And now we basically understand how does it work. And I can like move this up, but there's like still one last thing I need to cover. Like I show you those components, or sorry, products in the commerce tool, but I showed you only how to create a non-commercial content for your website. So what and how you can add those commercial products which you want to sell, of course. So you can do that very easily, that we created an integration with the commerce tools. So if I click on the storefront product slider, which is also here a standalone component, so product slider, where I have some code, and I will show you that in a second. Then you can see here that I have here a special custom-made field type, and you can build your own custom field types for the Storyblock, which is cool also about Storyblock, that you can build your own what you need. So here I can select the products directly from the commerce tools. So if I now choose like all 4 products, I close it, I see them here. It's not updated here because I have to ask also the commerce tool API for update. So I have to hit the save and reload, and we will hopefully get also solution for live reloading here. And if I scroll down, I now see all the 4 components. So I can select them. I could select also categories, which I have just a sample for you that you can also select categories, and you could select and basically show anything you want from the commerce tool API. So I just showed this 4 components, and then the function from the view storefront would take care for that, like, okay, click the add to cart. And what does it mean here is that if I correctly publish it and show you the slider here on the bottom, then I didn't publish all 4 of them, so we see only 2 of them, but doesn't matter. I have the items, and the items, I have the ID from the commerce tools. I have the SKU, for example, name, etc. We could populate there more stuff if we wanted, but it's not necessary. So basically, this is something which is saved in Storyblock. But if you go at the end for a production, you still should use the ID to load the data from the commerce tool if you are rendering that. And for that is responsible view storefront. And that's also very easy because view storefront can get basically all the data. So this is just like how we are going to render it. And we are using some view storefront component, of course. But then important is this part where we are loading the use products and product getters from the view storefront commerce tools plugin or library. And then using that basically, and very easy setup function, which is described in the view storefront documentation, and I will show you that in a second. You basically just load all the items from the commerce tools using the IDs that Storyblock provided. And then of course you will populate them like in list, product getters, and loading. And then you will of course send that directly into the product card, which is also covered in the documentation. So here I am sending the product.getName, and then we are rendering the product cards. Sorry. So, and that's it. So no big magic, like very easy. Like you can build your custom components, what you want to need. Then you can do it only using the categories if you need it, and do it in with the categories. So and that's, I think I covered over also this. The last thing I would like to show is like I created this a product slider, and now if I would like to, I just can do a new product slider on the top where I see, for example, I will just remove these 2. Let's leave the one, but I don't have, of course, there a preview setup for only one product. So we see a slider with 1 product, and it's here, it's loaded. So, and you could here have, for example, had a value above, or you can have something like a title, and this could be like a featured products you will choose here, and you are using the same component as on the bottom where I'm showing 4 different products. So this is the beauty of the store of the combination of the headless e-commerce, like headless CMS, with something like view storefront, Next.js together with commerce tools, that your marketers, sellers, content editors are able to building any structure they want, and then can preview it even like on the mobile device. Does it look would it look good on the iPad or on tablet? Great. So they just go and play with that. So I think like that was enough of coding. Hopefully it was not too fast and you get it. So if you want to asking now where you should start, then definitely you should go for the for the storyblock.com/tc/Next.js, which is our technology hub for the Next.js and the Vue.js. So there you have a lot of stuff. Oh, of course, we have also the next one. Sorry for the mistake. No offense. Where you have everything you need. You have also like the topics like how to build a Vueday blog, who's we are like friends with, and they build like the whole Vueday on the Storyblock with 7 parts, a tutorial, and more other stuff interesting. Then if you want to learn more about definitely the Vue Storefront and how to connect with the Storyblock, there are like 2 ways. The recommended way also from the Vue Storefront you can find on docs.vuestorefront.io/storyblock. And also, if you want to learn more about how to integrate Storyblock in general with other commerce solutions, e-commerce solutions, then go for storyblock.com/docs/guide/integration/e-commerce tools. I know long link, but you basically find out everything about these 4 and more are coming, of course, every day. And next, maybe you should join our community if you want to know more about the Headless, about Next.js, Vue.js, how to integrate, how to use the gem stack, and why is this so powerful. So join our community if you want, and or if not, then follow us on Twitter at Storyblock, or follow me on Twitter, and we are happy to answer any questions if you have some. And of course, what I do always is I want to thank to the teams, and not only the Storyblock team who is responsible for Storyblock, and I'm here to just presenting to you. So I'm the pretty face, or hopefully pretty face, who do the nice presentation, but behind the whole Storyblock is a huge team who is building this great tool, and the same goes about the Next.js and the Vue Storefront and all the other tools. So there are always a big teams, and they really care about their products, and they care if you also tweet about it. So very thank you, and people see that and they get motivated. Thank you for that. So thank you, team. And lastly, that's all from me. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I am here also to answer your question. I'm looking forward to the Q&A. And as I said, hopefully the next time we will see in person in Italy, and I could eat a beer, drink a beer, and eat a pizza together, and discuss everything in person. Thank you very much.
All right. You are certainly the pretty face.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you had 45 minutes. Do you feel like you were able to really speak slow and get it all out?
I could be slower and maybe skip some parts, but yeah, I'm always like too excited about the stuff and to just show you as much as possible. And as I said, like, I have 45 minutes, and I was like, I have to use it.
Yes, you just fill that up. It worked though. I think it showed a lot. Now I work at a startup, but before I worked with a lot of enterprise-like clients, generate clients that are multi-tenant websites, multiple instances of stuff, huge other software where you have to connect. So can you talk to me about the future of Storyblock and how that might work with these enterprise systems?
What do we see? I mean, like also from the clients, we can say like a lot of enterprise clients are moving to the headless, like the headless environment and universe in general. They see that there is like something new and something cool, and it gives them a lot of freedom. So yes, it's there, and we are getting a lot of more clients from the enterprise, and they are looking for like multi-spaces, how to move the components between, how to reuse the stuff, how to create like master-child spaces, how to create like for every country, how to create for every country like standalone space where like a country team can still like take care of the content instead of like having the risk or issue to jumping to a different countries or something like that. So there are like many reasons why they're choosing headless. Not saying that sometimes you have in a crazy situation when every country has a different front-end framework. And in that case,
oh yes, I've been there.
In that case, like the headless is cool.
Yeah, and how does it work for you guys with like workflows and approval processes and stuff like that? Do you have this in place at the moment?
Yeah. We have it. Even in the like free plan, there is like the basic workflows process you can have, so the drafts. But if you go for like enterprise plans, then there is already like fully customizable. So you just can create your
awesome.
own workflow stages and just set the order and what should happen, etc.
And so, based on what I just saw, shouldn't you guys be in the Mac Alliance?
Probably we could be. I don't know. Like this is better the question for our CEO and
I know,
ones
but I
who
still
do
wanted
the
to ask.
decisions.
Because you know what?
So-
I'm in the Mac Alliance Tech Council, so I have some influence. And I'm not gonna just, hey, let's put my friends in. That's not gonna happen, right? There's some special stuff going on. But I feel like you guys could kind of fit. What do you think?
I think we would be definitely fit. I have to also say, like, I don't know everything, so maybe are even in the talks video or something. So you never know.
No, not yet. But there's it's also money involved. So, but that's not for this talk. Let's keep that at bay and we connect offline. So let's go to our Q&A panel. So I'm looking first some questions from Dan. And he's kind of looking into I'll try to combine the two questions, and it seems like you're showing a lot of like CMS related stuff. So where does e-commerce come in? And so is there any like maybe this is a nice bridge for you to also talk about how you connect these e-commerces properly?
I mean, this is that was a good question. That somebody cannot see it as the future of the e-commerce. That's totally okay. But I see it like it's and why I think it's like the clients are asking for that. So we even had, and this is like something that I shouldn't mention a lot, but Storyblock had also the e-commerce solution. But as we had some cross thinking about the whole problems and creating the decoupled stuff, then we find out that it's like we cannot focus on every problem, and then you choose which problems you want to solve. And that's the good part, that as a CMS, we are choosing to focus on the storytelling and make that possible. And of course, the e-commerce systems, they are focusing on the e-commerce part. And if they try to do a storytelling, it's usually a little bit clumsy, or, like it doesn't work so well as it should be. And that's why I think like this is the future, that you can combine these two using the APIs very easily. And then you can like jump between the different like headless CMSs, or you can jump also between different e-commerce solutions. So if like in future, your e-commerce solution doesn't work for you anymore, you don't have to change everything just because you have your content in the one solution, but you will choose and change only the part you need. And then of course, with APIs, you can set up your process of like the selling as you need. So you just extract those data from your e-commerce solutions, which you need, basically.
Exactly. And so, Dan, I think the best answer here is that in modern technology, you kind of compose things together. And so a CMS doesn't actually have e-commerce capabilities. It is the combination of being able to connect to it and then potentially show some of that e-commerce stuff in the interface. But it's not a tight coupling. And so sometimes your brain needs to get there a bit, but once it's there, it's amazing, right? Because you don't have to re-platform anymore. You don't like the e-commerce, you just plug in another one. And generally the front-end API should stay the same, hopefully.
Yeah, I like one quote from one of our users, because we had a lot of talks with the customers, clients. They are asking like, hey, we are moving from this old monolithic CMS. And the usual question is like, how I can do the CEO, like server engine optimization or the meta tags. And they are always like, I have in this WordPress, I had this plugin for it. And we are and we are like, yes, we don't have a plugin or like something like we give you, but you can do it as any way that you want. You just set up a field. You don't have to like have a plugin which will tell you have to do it this way. Do it your way. And then there was a people and they are like, yeah, I was at first confused. And then they usually find out that it's much simpler because it's fulfilled their need instead of saying them what they should do and how.
Exactly. I love that freedom. And so that also fits a little bit with Sibren's question. So I think because you explained it quite close to Vue Storefront, right? And of course that doesn't have to be, but with that in mind, his question is like, how free are we to create custom components to use with Storyblock? Can I use any style framework, for example?
Yes, the simplest and shortest answer is yes. And the point is like, you can create any components and any deep chain. So you are basically creating a component, then you can nest it in the other component. And it's up to you how granularity you will choose. So it can be that one component is only one field and you combine it. and it can get very complex.
That's how I would do it. I like placeholders with references to other components. So I only have one type, which is a page, and I just dump stuff in. That's slightly different maybe than others. But anyway, so Sibren, what this means, it's just a headless CMS, and it kind of works with anything you throw at it. It's just lovely that it works so well with Vue Storefront. That's how I would use it personally. And Vue Storefront has all these awesome components already. So let's have a look. We have a couple of minutes left. So right now, this inline editing thing, this super cool experience, can you explain how this connects to your code base? Because you don't need anything fancy, right?
It's very simple to set up. Yeah, exactly. So basically, in the short, what you have to do is install the module Storyblock Next, and with that you will also install the V editable. And I again forget what is that exactly name for the correct view name for it. So that property where you can set a block or like a data. And what you do is that in the draft version of the content, only in draft, not in publish, we just adding a special property, and which we can like map to basically your content. And then we are using the input events, basically can match and catch the events at the input, and we have a bridge between. So it's very simple and very easy.
How is the V editable thing that you add? How does that connect to the model of the data that component uses in Storyblock? Right? How do we know about the fields inside?
You don't know the
component names, things like that.
You know about the whole object. So this is also possible only on the level of the object, of course. So you will be opening the right object. And then we know that at the HTML of your object, we just do the early simple CSS for outline, for highlighting. Okay. And of course, in that block, in the V editable, you're sending this special property called also V editable from the draft content, where is exactly the ID of the component. So of the block, we call it, because it's
of course
of the component.
Yeah.
And then we know what we should open.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And if I build, let's say, a jQuery thing, like my website is with jQuery and Vanilla.js and whatever crazy stuff that still exists, does that still work with the V editable inside your system?
That will not work with V editable, because this is not JavaScript independent, Vue independent, but we have a JavaScript library for that you can use with the jQuery in that case, of course.
Okay, so you have to add something in your own code base to be able to make that editing work inside Storyblock.
Yes, but for the but very important note, for the production, you don't have to include it. So that is only for the
No, exactly. Because I don't want that bundle to serve to my users, right? Because there's no need for them to have all that editing capability and fancy drag and drop stuff.
Exactly.
Right? I still like performance and stuff. And so you also showed something that is really interesting to me. That's the versioning. Because I've just been working on, I wrote a blog post on the company website where I work, and they're working also with another headless CMS. And then every time I change something, it auto-saved, all good, but that auto-save would trigger a Netlify build. So for me to be able to look at the staging and see what I did, because there was no preview, right? Or there was a preview, which is staging, but it every time it takes a whole Netlify build, and it's a pretty big website. So 3 minutes wait to see the change. And so if I change something, blur, go to another field, change something, go back, that's like 3 different builds on Netlify. Yeah. It's going to be pretty expensive at one point. So how did you guys solve this?
So you basically do that only if you hit the save, but we don't do that auto save. And then you don't trigger, you will not trigger basically the webhook. So you will set up your webhook. And that's why we also recommend basically this real-time editing, because you don't have to rebuild everything to see it. And this exactly works with Nux. And the point is that we, from the content editor, as you are typing, sending the event, and this event contains basically the whole content of your story. And then in the Vue.js, we are replacing it.
Yeah, so when you edit, it's in line. So it's your own website. So you already know how it looks because you're editing it like that. So you guys really bridged the gap between content editing and previewing and looking at it at the same time. And so, yeah, this is why I'm a fan. But you already knew that. But now the audience also know. And so I'm really keen to try this out with you together and then show how easy it is to set up. But that's not for this conference, but maybe for another one where we can do that together. And so, is there anything you would love to share? Because we have about a minute left.
I don't want to do a lot of ads, but we will have also like own events. So if you want, join us on the event next week, and you can see also what we are like planning for the future. Also for the Vue, we will have the Philip talking also about the Vue Storefront. So
cool.
Definitely you should join if you like the Vue.
All right,
and you can
that is awesome.
I will send the link into the comment.
Yeah, just put it in our chat. So thank you very much, Samuel, and it was lovely to see you again. And let's make it again soon. Cheers. Bye.
Ciao. Cheers.
Ciao.